welcome back to the channel. My name is Kevin.
I'm Tarsha.
This is Conversations with the Crawlers. We do conversations about faith, family, relationships, and we do recaps, reviews, and commentaries on some of our favorite shows. This one is all about the new show from the people that brought us Ready to Love, Make a Move.
Correct.
So this is content that you enjoy. By now, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe, hit the like, request notifications,
and share.
We'll see you in the comments. Consider becoming a member and checking out the merch store, and definitely make sure you check out some of the other things that we're doing, because we started a new kind of like, I don't want to call it a podcast, but new series called Empty Nest Chronicles, where we're right now doing interviews with some of our friends just about different stuff that folks face that aren't necessarily single and just getting out of high school or whatever, right? So,
just not getting out of high school.
Well, all right. So listen. All right, let's jump into it before I say something else. All right. So this episode picks up with the continuation of Zadia and Charisse having their argument again, because Charisse decided that she did not want to put her, I'll be nice. She didn't want to act grown and have the conversation with Zadia. She decided that she wanted to come and tell everything. So again, Zadia's like, you could have come to me when I woke you up, and I would have known that that was an issue, and we could have addressed it then like adults.
But her point, like, well, I was asleep, and I know, blah, blah, blah. I was like, well, you knew when you sat down with the life coach, Tamika, to tell all that. But I think Zadia should really catch a clue that she's not interested to be corrected. Cherie's not interested in being corrected.
Right.
And Zadia did what she was supposed to. She apologized about her part. But the conflict keeps coming in, or they are bumping heads when Zadia wants to bring out what she feel, like she was disrespected herself.
Right.
So, but she was like, Cherie was like, I don't want to talk about it anymore. So.
Yeah. Sure. And Charisse keeps bringing up this thing of, I'm outside of my comfort zone.
So does everybody else. And that's what they said.
If you're going through life, you're outside of your comfort zone.
You should be.
Sorry. So yeah. All right. So Vernisha does make a comment that she's committed to staying open and not committing to something off the top, and just kind of just sticking with that from the beginning because of her history with it, but also what she went through with Joel before. So Tamika, the relationship expert, or the matchmaker, that's what she is. Matchmaker, make me a match. All right. So she hooks up Ashley and Zadia both with the same guy on a blind date. Different dates, but the same guy. So Kirsten, who is a 38-year-old ex-football player, we first see him connecting with Ashley. They have good connection, good chemistry, good vibe.
They understand each other's language.
Yes.
I call it a language when he doesn't it doesn't take much for them to understand each other.
Right.
And they're just,
they jump into a flow.
Right. They jump into the flow, and they're laughing and having a good time. So
during their conversation, one of the things that comes up is that she's open to having a kid. Having a child, her concern is just the pain and what have you.
Right.
So she's like, I'm open to it. She's like, she thinks she'd be a great mother. She's just not sure about the pain. Actually, they got epidurals. I don't know how much that helps, because I haven't given birth. I've just held hands
and bump heads.
Yes. and push. There you go, baby. You got it. And dab the forehead. I did that.
I don't remember you dabbing my forehead. Let's be honest. You didn't dab my forehead.
I did.
You did not dab my forehead.
Okay. You were drugged up, but I wasn't. Okay.
Oh, okay. Okay, now I'm drugged up. First, you don't know how I feel, so it's supposed to take my memory. I don't remember you dabbing. I didn't really want you to touch the bed or anything, so you weren't dabbing my head.
Okay. All right. I wasn't dabbing your head. Okay, cool. They here. They on this side. They
on
here.
This side.
You did the job. You did a phenomenal job. Yes.
So
I was just there.
I get it, because I get it. Well, and then also you could die in childbirth. So
True.
I
Yes.
I understand people being
I mean,
fearful.
you just went, ha 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 ha, or you could die.
You could.
You could die.
It's possible.
We know. Yes, we do know, especially when we're talking black women do have a higher mortality rate. So definitely make sure that you're getting the care for that. But yes,
getting the care. So I understand why she's fearful.
Yes.
That's all we're trying to get to.
That's all we're trying to get across. He does go on his blind date with Zadia as well.
It's like night and day, though. It's funny how certain people can bring stuff out of you, and then some people can shut you down.
He found her attractive, right? I don't think he didn't find Ashley attractive either, but he seemed especially smitten, if you will, if that's
over Zadia.
Over Zadia, because he commented, he's like, "I'm just taking it all in." So
I don't know if it's like when people. I don't want to say,
or maybe he just having nothing to say.
Well, I don't know how to put it because I don't want to say she wasn't on his level. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But maybe he may have been a little more intimidated by Zadia, and maybe that's what it was.
Possible.
You know, and then when he's trying to say something, it's just not coming over well with her. But she's kind of like, she can be very closed off.
Yes.
So he's trying to joke. He's like, I'm joking. Like, and she's like,
she wasn't getting it.
Oh, okay. I'm not getting it.
Now, the thing that we both didn't get was the amen.
I have had somebody do that to me.
I know, you told me.
Yes. And
wasn't me.
And when you're just getting to meet someone and you're going to offer prayer to pray over the food, you need to speak. Because to me, you're telling me you don't know how to pray. Because
even Zadia was like, I don't know what you're praying. If you're talking to Jesus on my behalf, I need hey.
Right. Thank you. And she's like, you going to be silent? Yeah, this is silent prayer. Like, bro.
Then why are you telling me you praying?
Right. You could just close your eyes by yourself. Because when we hold hands, we're coming into agreement. And I do agree with her. I want to know what we coming in agreement about. Yes. So I got to give her that. I was like, no, I don't like that.
The topic of a child comes up. And she makes the statement, and I've heard this a few times in some of the shows that we've watched.
Yeah.
She says she's open to gifting him a kid.
He's like, what did that mean? Gifting.
What? Help us understand. Help me understand.
I'm not.
Either you want to have a child with me or you don't.
Right.
It's not. A child is a gift to both of us.
To both.
And it's a gift, let's be honest, that requires work,
taking
effort, energy, takes time, money,
taking
all of that.
For the rest
of
your
don't
life.
Be like, here's your gift. Now go away with your gift. That's not how that works.
Not at all.
So
not at all.
So he was kind of like, oh, okay.
Okay, so you do want to have children? You don't want to have children? You just
gonna gift a kid, like you go pick it out at Walmart or Target.
I would never just give somebody anything when it kind of come out of my body. We gotta be together on this.
Okay. All right. So on the other side of New Orleans, Walter, who is a songwriter, basically, I forgot how old he was, but he goes on a blind date with Vernisha and with Charisse. And he has a cooking date with Vernisha. They do some shrimp etouffee.
Yeah, that's cool.
And they're connecting, they're vibing. Nothing major, but I think Vernisha, the way she strikes me is she gets along with whoever she gets along with.
She does.
It's not like so far I've not seen her not get along with someone. Now there may not be a strong connection,
right?
But at least they're vibing, they're connecting, right?
Yeah, I think any man that dates her will feel comfortable.
Yeah,
she makes men feel comfortable when they take her out.
I agree. Then Walter goes on a blind date with Charisse, and they go on a carriage ride. He's attracted to her, what have you. Find out he was married for 19 years. Didn't work out.
Looking to get remarried.
We're looking to get remarried. That's not baggage for her. And so he does, at least he can carry on the conversation with her.
Yes. to the one that she's been keeping around,
Maurice.
So again, the date with the carriage, he doesn't come off very flashy.
Right.
But a songwriter is don't make minimum wage either.
Right. And he's written for some artists.
That's what I'm saying. Recent artists, not old artists. Like, you know what I'm saying? Well, he talked about Young Guns. Some of those names are pretty within this era.
Yes.
They're not like
But we also don't know what fully he's written. So he could have written.
Sorry.
You and this beard. he could have written a B track on the album, or he could have written a hit song. We don't know. But long story short, he doing something.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It's current.
Right. So then that's pretty much it for the blind dates.
Mm-hmm.
Charisse goes on a picnic date with Maurice.
Mm-hmm.
And
I don't think she's being as transparent about how she's feeling about their communication, because he's barely talking, and he's talking about he's not a man of a lot of words. But if you feel like, hey, I don't think we're really having a good in-depth conversation and I would like for it to be, you need to speak up. I know your feelings, but if this was somebody else and then we were in the same situation, I would say the same thing.
I get that. I hear you. Okay. All right. I'm gonna move on.
Yes, moving
along. Ashley and Zadia, they find out that their blind date was with the same guy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So then Zadia again tries to talk with Charisse. Mm-hmm. She's like, Ashley, hey, can you excuse us? I just want to talk. She once again just tries to bring clarity and say, hey, we could have done this. It didn't have to feel like you were telling on me, like we 3 years old at the playground or whatever. Mm-hmm. Charisse, don't tell me how to respond. Don't tell me how to feel. Don't.
Okay.
So Zadia's like, you know what? She didn't say this to her,
right?
But in the aside, she was like, okay, if you got snakish ways, you a snake. Mm-hmm. So, and yeah. All right, moving on, because y'all know how I feel about Charisse. All right. Ashley and Zadia go on blind dates with their keepers. So Don and with Cameron.
They went bowling.
Ashley is a little miffed because Don has not reached out.
In 2 days.
But
he had reached out, but for whatever reason, it didn't send a text. And it doesn't. That's happened to me before.
I've had it happen a couple times.
Like I texted you, like, no, didn't. Like, I didn't hear this right here.
And it's on my phone, but it's not on your phone.
Mm-hmm.
Got it.
It happened. So she was like, you could have called.
Which,
and he's like, you're right.
He could have called. He does say that he's more of an in-person guy, right? Mm-hmm. Some people, let's just be honest, some people aren't really heavy texters, right? Mm-hmm. Recognize that, yes, it's very easy to communicate, what have you, but people have their communication style.
But that's interesting for him to say that, and then he doesn't call when he texts.
That is. I'll give you that. Yep.
So she could be right that he might not be just into her.
Yep.
And that's okay.
It is.
And we do know he made the effort to text, right?
She says she's letting it go.
But she wouldn't let him go on that bowling date.
Yeah, because she said she was letting it go when he first showed her. Mm-hmm. She was like, okay, cool. And then later on, she was like, yeah. Her date, he texted her. He called her. You don't. And so Cameron and Zadia were kind of, if you squint your eyes really hard, they were matching.
I think they were just talking about them having a
colorful pattern shirt.
Yeah.
Yes, I get that. Vernisha goes on her date with Jabari, mm-hmm. and she tells him about the blind date. Mm-hmm. And Jabari's like, "Oh, cool. He taught you learn how to make etouffee. Cool. Now I can have some etouffee when you make it for us."
Right. And I don't know if he asked her what she's doing, because I won't be just giving out the information. Obviously, he knows she's on a dating show and that she has to be dating.
I think she probably volunteered it to get his response.
I think so too. But that's what I'm saying. You don't have to do that.
No. So then and part of that conversation also does come up the topic of money.
Yes.
So she is like, she's an entrepreneur. Mm-hmm. She got to figure out her money, right? Mm-hmm. She's like, I'm not marrying someone or getting with someone and my lifestyle goes down. She's like, because it came around gender roles. She's like, I don't necessarily subscribe to gender roles, except she feels that the man should at least be responsible enough and be making enough that they can keep a roof over their head, right? And he's like, I'm cool with that, but understand, I have a
9 to 5.
I have a W-2, so therefore I have a cap on mine.
Because he's like, how much are you looking for? Which is an honest question.
That is.
How much are you looking for?
Because if you saying that he got to make $250,000, he's like,
and my cap is not $250,000.
Listen, the way my W-2 is set up.
Right. So he says, as long as you know, being an entrepreneur, that's right. You can make as much money as you can, as much as you want on your hours. But I got hours because I work for an employee. So my cap is this amount. Until I get that 3% once a year. So yeah.
So, and so then they all the ladies meet up with Tamika and they recap their blind dates. And Zadia she's not honest.
I don't believe she's being honest because every time, Lord Jesus, what's the baby name?
Tamika?
Not Tamika.
Are you talking about Ashley, Tamika?
Yes, Ashley.
Okay.
I'm talking about Ashley. Ashley ends up having a great time because she's just an outgoing person. Right? So her date, she's having a good time. And then when they date the same person, then Zadia comes around like, oh yeah, we had a good time. Instead of her being honest, like, you know what, for me,
he didn't really work.
We just weren't vibing like that. And I think if that works for Ashley, Ashley should go for it. But that wasn't working for me. The silent prayer, she mentioned that at the end.
Right.
The silent prayer wasn't working for me. But you could just say like his jokes, the way.
Because we're watching the date, it's kind of awkward.
It is awkward.
Now, it's not as awkward as Maurice and Sharice's dates.
Right.
But it's kind of awkward. Right. So for her to say that she has a good connection, I don't know if we believe you.
No.
That's just me.
It didn't come off.
Based upon what we're seeing.
What we've seen.
Okay. So their assignment is they are meeting with their keepers and making decisions on whether they're going to keep them. So we see Ashley talking with Don, and she's still bringing up the issue of the phone and or the texting and what have you. Zadia makes it very simple. She's keeping Cameron. She wants to go over his house at 3:00 in the morning again, so
they can talk.
They can talk about silent prayer Jesus.
Jesus.
All right, Sharice talking with Maurice about the communication. They both say that they are open books.
They're not.
No, they are open books. They're open notebooks. There's nothing in there.
Oh my gosh.
They're just blank on the inside. But she ends up keeping him.
Yeah. I wouldn't keep him. Because she said, well, normally when I'm dating someone and they don't talk a lot, they're hiding something and you're not opening up. And he was trying to explain, which I don't feel like he explained very well, that why he doesn't say a lot. And, he's like in his head, as he's explaining in his cameos, that he doesn't have to say much and he knows he's going to be sticking around. And, he has all this self-confidence he's alluding to. And I'm just like, I know why you're divorced.
And I know why Sharice is keeping him around.
Yeah, because he does wear a lot of nice stuff. But to me, again, you don't know behind the scenes, right? When you're focused on people and what they wear, you don't know how they obtain that.
When you're shallow, yes, you're right.
Because when he could have a lot of debt. It's possible. He is an attorney. It's possible that he could be making a lot of money and that's his spending money.
It's possible.
But
he could be a lawyer for the mob. We don't know.
Hey, for a gang, who knows? But so I wouldn't just take it by surface issue because he ain't sharing how much he making. It's like those things like, how many hours do you work? How big is your firm? Are you a one-person firm? Do you have a corporate office? What are we talking about?
Once again, when shallow meets shallow, it's still shallow. All right. Vernisha does talk as far as being concerned about Jabari's modest living,
Mm-hmm.
but she ends up keeping him.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a good choice for her.
I think so too.
I think Walter could have been a fit if she wanted to, if she were interested.
Yeah, she was
but
really interested.
I think it came down to, do I give up what I've become comfortable with and still exploring for a good vibe, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I think Jabari's her type.
I do too. I agree.
And I think Maurice just didn't fit that type. Even though Walter, even though she said, "Oh, he's a manly man," blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But I think she has a certain look.
I think so too. And then Ashley goes to talk to Donald.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I still think that Ashley needs healing in a lot of areas.
Because she started crying when she had to make a decision and not to keep him,
So we don't know what her decision is.
Right. Until the next episode.
Right.
So we'll see.
We'll see. But that's it pretty much for this one. The next episode does look like Jabari and Vernisha do have a little disconnect, as far as she's basically telling him, according to the previews, that, hey, keep your options open because I'm keeping my options open. Mm-hmm. And Jabari's like, that's not how I operate. Mm-hmm. So we'll see how that plays out. Mm-hmm. It's hard to, with this one, is different than like some of the other shows like Ready to Love, just because
we don't get to see the men progress.
Right. And there's no real competition, if you will, between them. Right. So that's it for this one. We'll see y'all next time. Have a great one. Be blessed.
Bye.